Hey, Shalom, Yeshua, I want to start off souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakah, Kodash, double honors to the apostles of GMS, and honors to you brothers doing the work in truth. While sincerity, it's a quick one. I don't know if any brothers gone into it, but yeah, I was watching Apostle Kabar's video. He's speaking on sundown towns, and Spirit had the word. I came across the Negro Motorist Green Book a couple of weeks ago, month or so ago maybe. I just wanted to share that with you. Like I said, I haven't got much on this, so we just see where the Spirit leads. But yeah, no, this is the Negro Motorist Green Book. This is basically a book. I'll read a bit of it. So the Negro Motorist Green Book, at times styled the Negro Motorist Green Book or the Negro Traveler's Green Book, was an annual guidebook for African Americans or Israelites, road trippers, right, commonly referred to simply as the Green Book. It was originated and published by African-American New York City mailman Victor Hugo Green from 1936 to 66 during the era of Jim Crow laws, when open and often legally prescribed discrimination against African-Americans, especially and other non-whites, was widespread. Right? Although pervasive racial discrimination and poverty limited black car ownership, so because we were through, Jake couldn't do anything, man. Right? They couldn't they couldn't get the jobs, they couldn't do this, that, and that's all part of the curses, right? In fact, let me grab that real quick. Right, this is Deuteronomy 28:16. It says, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed thou shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store." Right, so in terms of making money, Jake cursed, man. Right, savings, what savings? Right, that's just not something that we would said, that we were to be having a lot of. Right, and you bring it forward. And it's still the same way, right? This is Haggai 1:6 says, "You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes," right? Hey, and that's every brother can attest that. It seems like you work, but you never have enough money. You buy clothes, but it's never enough, right? There's always a constant thing of it's just never enough. Right, which is why, hey, you know what? That's why, that's why we don't want to be here, right? So we carried on, says, board automobiles as soon as they could, but faced a variety of dangers and inconveniences along the road, from refusals of food and lodging to arbitrary arrest. Well, I believe that word arbitrary is basically just for no actual reason. Subject to individual will or judgment without restriction, contingent solely upon one's discretion. So basically, however someone felt that day. Right. In response, Green wrote his guide to services and places relatively friendly to African Americans, eventually expanding its coverage from New York to much of North America, as well as founding a travel agency. Right. So basically, it was so bad. See that from 1936 to 66, it was so bad, right? That it's sort of like how Jake hard today, but just then, it shows you still to this day, right? You might be like, hey, bro, you don't really want to go down there, that area ain't really safe for, they'll say for black people, quote unquote, but we know there ain't no such thing as black people, it's really Israelites, right? So yeah, it got so bad, that there was an actual book saying, yeah, no, it's cool to go to this place, it's cool to go to that place, right? And you know what? Even if those places didn't actually like Jake, they will entertain Jake, right? Why? Because Jake was bringing in the money, right? And hey, this is I always forget what it is. This is Sirach 13. Where am I gonna start? And 4, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. Right? And you got many modern day examples of that. Right? If you're making these sort of money, hey, he'll hush things up for you, right? Or he'll praise your name. But as soon as you start, then all of a sudden you're the biggest, worst thing since Hitler, man. Right? In their eyes, anyway. we know the truth. Right, it says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee, yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest now? So basically, I was going into the fact that with these sort of the devil, right, if he has any use for you, then he will have you around. If you can make him money, you can make him a load of money, but all he has to do is suffer your presence, he will do it, right? So it goes on to say, all Negroes who can do so purchase an automobile as soon as possible in order to be free of discomfort, discrimination, segregation, and insult. Black Americans employed as athletes, entertainers, and salesmen also traveled frequently for work purposes. As African American travelers faced hardships such as white-owned businesses refusing to serve them or repair their vehicles. So they even, they were like, look, man, I ain't gonna fix your car. Right, it says being refused accommodation or food by white-owned hotels and threats of physical violence and forcible expulsion from whites-only sundown towns. Right. It says Green founded and published the book to avoid such problems, compiling resources to give the Negro travel information that will keep him from running into difficulties, embarrassment, and to make his trip more enjoyable. Well, really, what he wanted to say was into running into racist ass Edomites, man. That's really what he wants, but that's not marketable. That's not marketable, right? So that's enough of that, man. So I was just said, I haven't really got much, man. This is Revelation 18:6. Said, reward her even as she rewarded you, right? Hey, so you gonna be some places in Israel you can't go, man. Right? The majority of you Edomites gonna be out there in them pits, man. Right? And that goes to, the heathen nations. But obviously, we read Isaiah 60, talks about how our gates shall be open continuously. So these heathen nations, they're going to be bringing goods in, but all these things, you're going to fear us in the kingdom, man. Just like how we feared you back then. That was the whole purpose of this book, right? Because people feared, right? Jake feared Esau. But in that day, you gonna fear us, man. Which is in double unto a double according to our works. Now, double isn't a literal. That's not, he punched you once, so you punch him twice. No, that's a metaphorical. He punched you once, so have your way with him. Right, you read Revelations 2:25. In fact, let me grab that. Verse 26, it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Right, so if we carry on doing, holding fast, like as actually read in verse 25, right, and overcome all the hardships, right, the Lord will give power over the nations, and ultimately all Israel shall be saved. Pursuant to Romans, right, the book of Romans. Right, to him will I give power over the nations, right, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Right, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken, even as I have received of my Father. Right, so Israel gonna be ruling, and we ain't gonna, we gonna bash these heathens over, man. Right, because they touched the apple of the Lord's eye, and we gonna see, we gonna know the wickedness that these certain individuals did to us. Right, so it goes on to say, in the cup which she had filled, that cup of slavery, man, filled to her double. So he's gonna get that double time, man. Right, you gonna get that multiplex time, that multiple time, man. It says Ezekiel 35:5, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right, so Esau's had a perpetual hatred for Jacob, man. You go back to Cain and Abel. Right, you go way back then. Like, Esau hated us, man. Esau hates the serpent. Right, there shall be enmity between your seed and her seed. Right, as in the seed of the serpent, which weren't no slithering snake. Right, that was represented over the sons of the wicked, which, more than you call them the Edomites, man. Right, so because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith yet Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. and sith that thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue. And you didn't hate blood. You did what it was in your will, what it was in your power to do. Right? So all these things, as we just read in Revelation 18:6, they're going to be exacted unto you. Right? And hey, verse 7 says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. Why? Because you read Obadiah 1:18. Well, you're going to be cut off. Right? The Edomites, that will never, that land, which could the land going to be given to the children of the tribe of Judah. Right? The land of Edom. But the Edomites, they going to be done away with. Right? It says, and cut off from it him that passed out and him that returned. Right? So yeah, like I said, I can go on, but I believe the point's been made. Right? So this is just been a quick one on what would you call it, the Negro Motorist Green book. So until the next time, we'll say shalom.